They use various oppressive laws in order to deny the freedom of expression and freedom to form organizations, freedom to take out rallies. If Chief Minister goes on a visit to a city, all the activists in the town, they are arrested and they are put behind the bars. This is quite common. If CM goes or his son KT Ramarao goes to any town, the parties in power, both Congress and TDP, used to tell us we can easily smash him. It's because of the civil society groups we are a little careful, and we don't want to antagonize all of you people. That's why we are a little careful with him. So it is we who sustained him through our rallies, through our movements, through our meetings. When we gave a call for Million March, he agreed initially, but subsequently he said this may lead to violence, and any violence would kind of used as a pretext by the government to suppress the entire, wipe out the movement. So he opposed it, but it was quite peaceful.
This is a joint coverage for the News Minute and News Laundry, and I'm Pooja Prasanna. Joining me today is one of the most prominent faces of the Telangana movement, and he is the founder as well as president of Telangana Jana Samithi. And recently, he's announced support to Congress. Sir, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I know that you've just come back from a Congress campaign, a Congress rally. Why did you decide to support Congress and not contest any seats from your party?
The reason is very simple. First of all, we all intend to defeat TRS for two reasons. Number one, it has established an autocratic regime in the state. There is no value for human rights. People are denied permission to articulate their own grievances. No place for dissent. So these are all the different dimensions. They use various oppressive laws in order to deny the freedom of expression and freedom to form organizations, freedom to take out rallies. All the freedoms guaranteed in Article 19, they are completely denied to the people. The second aspect is that it is essentially a rent-seeking class that rules the state. It's kind of a mafia that controls the state and uses the state machinery to appropriate common public resources. That includes SAT, and they also use the newly introduced Dharani website in order to appropriate common lands, in order to gain control over the lands on which there is a dispute. So this is what they do. All the contracts are given to the people who support the regime. And some of them also have the BRS leaders as partners. So this kind of an appropriation of resources and also with the help of an autocratic state machinery is what really blocks the development of the state. Unless and until this regime comes to an end, there is no scope for the development in the state. So we want this regime to come to an end. Though we have recognition, some moral support from the people, and we are respected because we have taken part in the Telangana movement, and as well as after the formation of the state, we have been opposing all the unjust policies of the government. So there is we are regarded very high by the people, different sections of the society, but yet our strength in itself is not sufficient. Unless and until all groups come together, we cannot create an atmosphere to defeat the existing regime. Now in this situation, sometimes it so happens that you don't get any tickets immediately, but they guaranteed us participation in the administration after the elections by accommodating some of us as members of the Legislative Council. In the council, we will be given an opportunity to participate, and we are also promised that in the corporations and at the district level, some of our members will be given an appropriate place. So given these assurances, we thought let us work for the defeat of this autocratic regime. That's a central concern. We have been fighting against it over the 9.5 years, and we have seen the worst part of the oppression by
Right.
the state missionary.
Can you
Unlike the
elaborate
others.
on that, sir? Because for audiences outside of Telangana, um, uh, this has not gotten enough coverage. When you
Yes.
speak about how dissent has been curbed, and there are house arrests of political leaders. In fact, in August, you were also put under house arrest
Yes,
when you wanted to
yes,
go out
this
and
is very
protest.
common.
So this is something that probably is accepted to a
Yes.
large extent because it's so rampant. Tell us the different ways in which the state machinery as well as the ruling party has clamped down on dissent in Telangana.
Yeah. The first thing is that they do not allow people to form themselves into a group, into a collective. The second thing, if they plan a protest, usually they deny permission if
Right.
it is against the government. Now, there are innumerable instances when the Congress was planning to take out a rally on many occasions. They denied them permission and arrested all the leaders.
Yeah.
Those who came to the Gandhi Bhavan, they were detained inside, not allowed to come outside the premises of the Gandhi Bhavan. So this is something that happened not only to Congress, we also faced it. In fact, we were the prime targets as far as this regime is concerned.
Yeah.
They will not allow us to go out and take out any rallies. There's on a number of occasions we were denied permission to stage a dharna at Indira Park, where the dharna chowk is located and all dharnas take place.
And how is it communicated? What are the reasons given why you're not allowed?
When we file usually we all file applications.
Yes.
And they give they reject it at the last minute. Sometimes they give it in return. The reasons are given in return.
Okay.
The reasons are very simple. On many occasions, we were told that, because we have been involved in many cases during the Telangana struggle, that we cannot, be granted permission because we have been so unlawful and we have been so violent and disruptive during the course of the Telangana movement. None of that has happened. The cases were foisted on us because we were fighting for a just demand. The second reason is that if so many people will gather there, they will be usually coming in a vehicle. It causes air pollution. That is the second reason that they often give. And then they say, we can't control huge crowd, and so it is difficult to grant permission. Very flimsy grounds they deny you permission. If Chief Minister goes on a visit to a city, all the activists in the town, they are arrested and they are put behind the bars. This is quite common. If CM goes or his son KT Ramarao goes to any town, you can, it is taken for granted that all the activists will be arrested. So you have to either escape the previous night or somehow, stay at a different place so that you can escape the arrest. Now, this is not through direct violent methods, but they often deny the advertisements. So those who are favorable will get the advertisement, and the Chief Minister's office acts as the editorial team. They would look at the papers and tell them, you shouldn't have given so much coverage to this particular event. Or they would say, this person should not have been shown in that front page. You should have taken him to the last page. And that's such a big news item, perhaps is not required at all. So that controls the media.
So they get into the editorial as well. And if I may just, take this opportunity to plug what we do, we run only on the subscriptions of our people. And we do not take ads from either corporates or government, which is why independent media has to grow.
Yes.
But so coming back to what you were talking about, you've known KCR for a long time now.
Yes.
He was your companion in the movement.
No.
So what happened? When did the relations start, and when did this, turn into, somebody who came up through protest is now clamping down on protest? How did that happen?
Yeah, there are two things that need to be told. Now, the first thing is that towards the end of the movement, there was a long discussion amongst ourselves. The activist of the JAC, the key activist of the JAC, we all used to talk among ourselves. And that time, our mentor, Professor Jaishankar, who was no more, but he died in 2011 or 12, but 11. So before his death, he told us, like after the formation of the state, you have to continue the struggle. So the struggle has two stages. In the first stage, you will fight for the statehood, and after the statehood comes into the existence, you will fight for the development of the region. It so happened, everything went well until we started criticizing, some of the policies which would harm the financial interest of the state. And that's when, the rupture started. After that, on a series of issues, our positions were not in the, were going against the interest of the KCR and his colleagues in the power. So they started criticizing us. They started, on one occasion when we planned to take out a rally demanding the recruitment to all the vacant positions in the government. So permission was denied. Then we said, even if you don't give permission, we will take out a rally. There's no way you can keep silent and sit at your home because permission is denied. So at midnight, 2:30, they came, banged our doors, broke open the doors, and then arrested 25 of us sleeping there at 2:30 or 3 in the morning. I told the DCP, concerned DCP, that we will come out at 6 o'clock. You can wait at the gate and arrest us. But he would not listen. He would break open the doors. They broke open the doors. They detained us, and we had this CC cameras, and that recording box was taken away. That we didn't realize till the next evening. And after 2001, the civil society groups did not merge with TRS. They remained outside and continued their activity. So that put a pressure on KCR. He wouldn't have survived so long. He wouldn't have survived. Often the parties in power, both Congress and TDP, used to tell us we can easily smash him. It's because of the civil society groups we are a little careful, and we don't want to antagonize all of you people. That's why we are a little careful with him. So it is we who sustained him through our rallies, through our movements, through our meetings. And he offered some kind of as a political leader, and his MLAs, they offered protection from police excesses.
Yeah.
So that's how, collaborated with each other, supported each other. But then, he was basically interested in only elections and meetings. Otherwise, agitations, he rarely showed any interest in leading an agitation, and always hesitant, and persuaded us not to launch any major agitation. So when we gave a call for Million March, he agreed initially, but subsequently he said this may lead to violence, and any violence would kind of used as a pretext by the government to suppress the entire, wipe out the movement. So he opposed it, but it was quite peaceful, and people came in spite of all the barricades and police pickets everywhere. And similarly, the Sagaraharam, a massive rally near the Hussain Sagar, the heart of Hyderabad, that also he opposed. But again, the program took place and it was quite peaceful. So there were kind of ruptures with him. At the same time, the movements also respected his political leadership. So it was kind of a love-hate relationship.
Right. Finally, sir, my question, you've been on the ground talking to people as well. So what is this election being fought on? What are the issues? Because it's been almost 10 years of rule by TRS and then now BRS. So would you say it's a referendum of their rule, or are there other issues like employment and other things that people are speaking about?
Yeah, it's a referendum. But however, the referendum, because people have a grouse against his rule. They have a grouse because he has not filled all the vacancies. Nearly 200 unemployed youth committed suicide during his tenure. And the farmers are unhappy because small, medium and tenant farmers, they don't get enough support from the government. And more than anything else, people say, it is an autocratic regime. Don't tolerate any criticism So that's one grouse people have. And they also say that, he says something and never bothers to implement it. And of course, he gives all the welfare schemes, implements all the welfare schemes, but they will be continued in any case. So it's a government that is quite oppressive. There is no safety to our life, or there is no protection to our property in this regime. So if they continue to rule, maybe they will ruin the state. These are all the issues people talk among themselves, and they decided to vote against him. Now then they look for an alternative. It's so interesting. It's people who are leading this struggle for this. How do I put it? This attempt to overthrow an existing regime is something that people planned for themselves, and they've taken up this issue and they started looking for a party that can lead them. Finally, they thought, Congress can do it, and therefore moving towards Congress party. Their schemes, of course, have attracted people towards the Congress. Rahul Gandhi's Padayatra also helped. Some of these events have definitely contributed to the growing popularity of Congress party. So that's how, it's something that people are planning to do this time. It looks so interesting wherever you go. And we were having tea in the morning, and there came an auto driver. He recognized some of us, and after exchanging pleasantries, started talking about elections. He said, no, we will defeat him this time. So that's the kind of a tempo we see, movement, kind of, the thinking among the people.
Right.
So widespread,
Right. I thank you very much for joining
Thank
us. You've had a hectic schedule,
I
so I
know.
appreciate your time, sir. Thank you.
News Laundry, the News Minute
News Laundry,
The News Minute,
News Laundry and the News Minute
are coming together.
साथ आ रहे हैं.
5 states, 2 independent media organizations, and 1 team.
so log on to newslaundry.com,
Contribute to the News Minute and News Laundry Election Fund.
Joint Election Fund.
TNM, NL,
Joint Election Fund.
तो हमारा सहयोग करें.
Contribute now.
Because we are stronger together.
क्योंकि साथ साथ मिलकर ही हम सब मजबूत होंगे.
क्योंकि सागे आपा मजबूत रहसा.
కలిసి ఉంటేనే బలంగా ఉంటాం.
we're stronger together.
And we're even stronger with you.